Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, recently I've had several people contact me and ask me about leasehold estates in Calabria. They look like they might be too good to be true, and so there's a lot of questions on that. So I did a little research and I asked Yvonne from Agencia Casabella Immobiliare in Scalea. He's my go-to guy for all things property related. Anyway, what I found was some interesting things here. So first of all, let's go over what a leasehold is. A leasehold, basically, in this instance, normally a leasehold is that like a co-op. You go in and you rent something, and you rent it for the long term. Um, Many times, depending on the situation, there's somebody that owns the ground on which the building is sitting on. So you basically have the use of the unit, but you don't own anything really. So it's really sort of a glorified long-term rental. And it's the same with the properties in Calabria. Now, some of the pros are that they look really cheap. I looked at the websites and I was like, wow, they look very cheap. I'm going to look at this. Some of the cons I found out from my own research and from Yvonne are as follows, and I'll go over them. The fees are not consistent, meaning that you come in and you might hear about a certain fee, and then suddenly there's more fees and more fees that you weren't told about at the very beginning, and then you're kind of stuck. How it works is the property person, the guy who owns it, goes through a property manager who then maintains everything, but he charges a fee. And so that's what you're paying him. The monthly fees are, generally around $100 a month, but they could be more. And there's no guarantee that they're not going to go up dramatically. So there are fees that you probably won't know about. The other thing is you're stuck with that property manager for good or bad. I mean, it could be all right, it could be horrible. Um, Another thing is you don't know if the guy who's renting out the property actually even owns it. There's no title search or anything like that. And when I looked at the properties in Scalea and the surrounding area as far as leaseholds, I'm going, they're not that much less expensive for the leasehold property than to actually just own a property outright, which to me makes a whole lot more sense. Um, so yeah, another thing is you are responsible for all the maintenance fees. So the freeholder, which is the owner of the property, or the agency can decide what work needs to be done. They can then have the work done by their cousin or whoever. They can charge whatever they want. You have no say on how it's done or how much they charge, but you have to pay for it. So that's another big thing. I would be very, very hesitant to enter into any kind of contract like that at all ever. One of the other things is there's no notaio. Now, if those of you who are familiar with property purchases in Italy, you know that the notaio is the guy who really makes sure that that the title is okay, meaning that the person who owns the property really owns the property and is eligible to sell it. They make sure that there's not hidden encumbrances, meaning somebody else has rights to your property that you don't know about. They find all of that stuff out. So they basically make sure that when you're buying this house, you're buying that house, and there's nothing hidden and nothing weird. And that's what the notaio does. He also collects the taxes and makes sure that that everything is the property purchase is going in accordance with the government regulations, which is important. So so there is that. Now let's see, have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. That said, in Calabria the properties are so cheap. I can't even imagine doing a leasehold. Another thing is you may or may not be able to even change anything in the property. You might not be able to put in new floors or change it, move walls around if you want to, or get anything done, make it really truly your own. I don't know, to me, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. And Yvonne was kind of with us on that. He says, look, if the property market was like in London or in Monaco, where the property prices are so outrageously expensive, it might make sense to do something like that, because then it might be worth the risk. But in Calabria, no, just buy your property. There's tons available. Gosh darn it, you can find whatever you want in whatever price range. So if you have questions, contact me and I can put you in touch with Yvonne if you want to, or I can take you up to the village or whatever you want to do. But I thought we'd clear up this thing on leaseholds. It just seems a little too iffy for me. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I'll see you later. Bye.